So, the way I started this off was I played a block chord, okay, and it's just an E minor chord, and then I highlighted it like I just did now, and I went over to my tools, and then I went to strum. What that does is it allows you to give you a strumming effect. It works. It's meant for guitar, but you can use it on anything. You know, I like using it on piano because it gives you that broken chord type of effect, and that's how I got this. Cool. So that's what I added to the second part. So now we play it all together. Cool. Moving on. Now the next part of the verse has patterns 1, which is the drums, and pattern 3. So now let's look at pattern 3. And pattern 3 is got a lot more stuff going on. Pattern 3 is where I introduce this pad from Nexus. It's called Dream of You, and you find it in Epic Pads, the Epic Pads category. It's called Dream of You, and it's a very airy, you know, almost choir type of pad, and I thought that would fit really nicely. And all I did was I played just block chords, the chords that are in my progression. You know, E minor, A minor, E minor, A minor, and then B minor. And I grouped that with the same piano line that's in pattern 5. I also introduced a bass line, the bass. The bass I got from Nexus as well. It's just your basic sine bass. And then the strings part that has been playing since the beginning of the verse. The chopped chords like that. So let me play that for you guys. Cool. So that's this section. And then the final section of the verse has pattern 4 coming in. Now pattern 4 is very similar to pattern 3. The only thing that changes is that instead of having the chopped strings, I decided to make them a little bit more legato. And since it is the last pattern on the verse before the hook comes in, the Undertaker patch from Nexus, I did a little bit more with it as well. Earlier in the verse, I was only using it, you know, once in the pattern as an ornament, as an effect, just to add texture. But on this final pattern before the hook, I decided to actually make a melody out of it and let it lead into the hook. So let me solo it and play it for you. Now this here leads into the hook. Cool. So now that's the whole verse. So I'm gonna play this whole section for you, so you can get a feel for it. Cool. So that's that. The next section obviously is the hook, the chorus. So I'm gonna loop that, and I'm gonna break down the chorus for y'all really quickly. Basically, the chorus, I decided that the drums should kind of change up, not only in rhythmic wise, but also in their sound, the way they sound. So I kept the kick the same, but instead of using that clap that you've been hearing in the verse, I substituted it with a layered snare. If we go to the drums really quick in the hook, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here I've got this snare and this snare layered together. Okay, so I'm gonna solo the drums, and this is what the drums and the hook sound like. So you can see they've got a little bit more of a rock feel to it. The verses have more of a hip hop, pop feel. The hook has more of a rock feel to it, and it's real easy to emulate. That was real easy. All I had to do was substitute the clap with more of a acoustic snare or even an electric snare, but just something different. And then I added this, kind of like an open hi-hat, right? Well, I added it in between on the upbeats. Feel what I'm saying? That's how I was able to get that type of feel, which goes well. Now, everything pretty much stays the same. The only thing that I added that was new comes from Hypersonic, and it's the power chords patch in the electric guitars. I wanted to add that type of texture. I wanted to add that rock texture, so I did that with the power chords. Going over to them. Basically, it's the root note of the chord progression. Okay, and then I left the Atmos piano on there. That sounds a little different too. Let me play that for you guys. Now I did the same thing in the piano. I did the same thing. I played block chords, then I played arpeggiated chords. I arpeggiated them down instead of up, and then I went in and on all of my block chords I highlighted them, went to tools, and strummed them. Okay, that's how I got that feel on the piano. Then I kept my Nexus pad. Okay, the Dream of You pad. I kept that in there. I've got the bass line, which is simply the same as the power chord. The melody's the same. I'm just following the root note of the chord progression, and that pretty much makes up the first part of the hook. Let me play that for you.